Hello, friends. Welcome to The Real Side Stories. Friends, this is a strange story from a town in the United States called Speedway. In 1978, there was a restaurant here named Burger Chef. It was a fast food chain, and there was a branch in this town. On November 17th, 1978, something happened in this restaurant that the people of this town have not forgotten to this day. Friends, on this date, it was 11 p.m., the time for the restaurant to close. At the same time, an employee working in the restaurant walked in and saw a strange scene. The other 4 employees of the restaurant were missing. The restaurant was completely empty, and the safe of the restaurant was open, with the money missing. The back door of the restaurant was also open. Now, friends, it seemed obvious that the 4 employees had taken the money and left. These 4 people were Jane Freet, who was the assistant manager and 20 years old, Daniel Davis and Mark Flemons, who were both 16 years old, and Ruth Shelton, who was 17 years old. These 4 people were missing. Friends, the police arrived and also assumed that the 4 employees had taken the money and gone somewhere. The amount of money was not much, a total of $581, which is about $2,500 today. The police thought that these young people might have stolen the money to go out and party somewhere. There was no evidence at the restaurant to suggest that a crime had taken place, so the police did not take the matter seriously. However, one strange thing at the scene was that the 2 girls among them had left their purses and jackets in the restaurant. Now, the police should have found it strange why the 2 girls would leave behind their purses and jackets, but they didn't pay attention to it either. Within 2 days, the restaurant reopened and new employees were sent to work there. But this story was not so simple. These 4 people lived in the same town, and a few days passed, but they did not return. For such a small amount of money, why would anyone leave their job and home? This was very strange to the police. Their suspicion grew further when they found the car of one of the girls, Jane Freet, in the same town. The car was empty, and the police began to realize they should have taken the matter more seriously. At that time, they had not collected any evidence from the restaurant or taken any photographs. They thought the 4 employees had stolen the money, but that was not the case. Something terrible had likely happened to them. Friends, 2 days later, about 20 kilometers away from the town, some friends were hiking in a forest when they discovered the bodies of 4 people. These were the same 4 employees of the Burger Chef restaurant who had gone missing. The 4 had been killed in different ways. Davis and Shelton were shot, Jane Freet was stabbed, and Mark Flemons' throat was slit. All 4 were still wearing their Burger Chef uniforms. The strange thing was that the stolen money from the restaurant was found on their bodies. This meant someone had kidnapped them and killed them in the forest, not for the money. Otherwise, the money would not have been left there. This case was very strange. Why would anyone kidnap and kill restaurant employees? The police could not understand the reason. Friends, when the police started working on this case, they found a 16-year-old boy who had seen what happened that night. He told the police that a car had stopped in front of the restaurant. 2 men, around 30 years old, got out of the car. One man had a beard, and the other was clean-shaven. The boy did not know what happened next as he was just passing by. Friends, the police were working on the case but found no evidence. They arrested several people during this time, but nothing substantial came to light, and the real criminals were not caught. Meanwhile, the police arrested a man who had been seen near the restaurant on the night of the incident. At that time, this man had a beard, but when the police caught him, he was clean-shaven. The police found out that he had kept a beard for the past 5 years, and had shaved it off, likely to avoid being recognized by the police. This was a small detail, but it made the police suspicious of him. Another reason for suspicion was that one of his close friends was in jail for robbery, and his description matched that of the second man the 16-year-old boy had seen outside the restaurant. The police suspected both men, but there was no evidence to prove they were involved in the crime. Friends, time passed, and this story continued to haunt the people of the town. Who killed those 4 employees, and why remained unanswered? However, in 1984, 6 years later, the case saw a breakthrough. Near the town, there was a jail called the Pendleton Correctional Facility, where a dangerous criminal named Donald Forrester was imprisoned. This man told the police that he was the one who killed the 4 employees. Donald was about to be transferred to another, more dangerous prison. He offered to tell the police the whole story about the murders if they agreed not to transfer him. The police accepted his condition. Friends, the story he told was very strange. Donald told the police that one of the 4, more. Jane Freet, the assistant manager, had a brother named James who was involved in drug smuggling. James had made a drug deal with Donald but had not paid him back. Donald said he and his associates went to the restaurant to threaten Jane Freet so she would talk to her brother. But an argument broke out with the other 3 employees, and things escalated. Donald and his associates took all 4 at gunpoint and kidnapped them. At that time, there were no security cameras, which could have solved the case sooner. The police were still unsure if Donald was telling the truth. They asked him to take them to the place where the 4 were killed. Donald took them to the exact location where their bodies had been found. It seemed the case was finally solved. Friends, Donald also named 3 other people who were involved in the crime. The police also learned from Donald's wife that he had confessed everything to her after committing the murders, and had even taken her to the spot where the bodies were found. Friends, the police presented Donald in court, but surprisingly, he retracted his confession. He claimed the police had pressured him into admitting the crime and that he had not killed the 4 employees. Now there were 2 possibilities. Either Donald was telling the truth or he was lying to the court. In any case, the charges against him could not be proven. He remained in jail and died there in 2006. Friends, it is believed that Donald was indeed the one who killed the 4 employees, but in official police records, this case remains unsolved to this day. This is a mysterious story that the people of this town have never forgotten.